Welcome back. Last time we talked about our bodies and our desires being signs of what we were created for, love and communion with each other and with God. And today we're looking at the essence of what that love looks like. With our sexual desires being so strong and our society feeding us a steady stream of mixed messages about love and lust, a lot of people are just confused.
Secret of true love, soul's recognition of its counterpoint.
Secret of true love. There's no secret.
First you have to love yourself and be happy with yourself. And then that makes you to allow others into your life and to be happy with them.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the soul's recognition of its counterpoint. Is that what he said? Is that what he said?
Just to be totally comfortable with somebody and to be happy when you're around them and for them to be the highlight of your day.
Secret of finding true love. I found Sean on the internet.
Just being in love, just wanting to get over a fight, regardless of who's wrong or who's right.
Every gaining moment you want to be with that person, and it's not work, it just comes naturally.
Communication.
I just think it's communication.
Finding the right person.
And just be silly and act goofy and say whatever that's on your mind and they won't care.
Just being compatible and not getting into fights and getting along.
I'd have to agree with her. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to find and it's common.
We've got a poet here. We do have a poet here.
Taking the tough situations and making them happy, good situations.
Nothing. There is no true love. That's my answer.
Maybe you caught the confusion there. Or maybe you're thinking, that's what I think too. Let's face it, sex is a big part of our confusion. But some people think that sex is bad or that that's really the essence of the problem. Jace, let's talk about what is the real deal when it comes to our desires and sexuality and those two things coming together.
Yeah, I think one of the most common misconceptions is that sexual desire is the same thing as impurity. And if you get really pure, you're not going to have any sexual desires anymore. But if that were the case, purity would be impossible. We have to realize that sexual desire is not from the devil, it's from God. It's what we do with our desires that is either love or lust that becomes virtue or vice. And if you look in your heart, we know we're called to love. I remember speaking at a high school in Northern California, and after the talk, this guy came up to me, and he was a self-proclaimed player, and he had said he had slept with so many girls he couldn't even remember. And we had a long conversation. About halfway through it, he kind of got choked up, and he said, be honest with you, he goes, I don't even know how to have a relationship with a girl. Honestly, he said, every time I get close to her, I just end up destroying her. And I remember him using that word, destroy. I mean, deep within the heart of this player, this guy longed for something real, something good, noble, sacrificial, and heroic. He didn't want to see girls anymore as just targets to be conquered. He wanted to see a girl as something to be treasured. And he didn't know the theology of the body, but he knew what the Pope taught, that using is the opposite of loving. Pope John Paul II called that big word utilitarianism, which just basically means you use someone else for your own profit and gain and pleasure. And the using goes both ways. Guys get used, girls get used. I think it's just that we get seduced in different ways. I remember just a couple weeks ago, I was in Chicago, and I went into this Italian restaurant, had to use the restroom, so I walk into the bathroom. First thing I see on the wall of this bathroom is this big, probably 4-foot tall poster of 5 women's legs. And as soon as I saw this picture, first thing that came to mind is, you know, I wonder if I went into the women's bathroom and just peeked in there, would there be a large 4-foot poster of 5 men's legs in the bathroom? I probably don't think so. I mean, Brian, if you and I, like just between breaks, between shows, you know, just for fun, kind of rolled up our pants and took a, you know, a black and white photo of our lovely legs and just hung it in the girls' bathroom down the hall, and then women went in there, what would they do? What would we would hear laughter. You know, not that there's any, I'm sure you're legs are shapely and fine, but but they're not an object, I know. But we're just wired so differently, and so we do get seduced in different ways. And what the Holy Father says, the solution to this using, this utilitarianism, is another big word. It's called the personalistic norm, and that's a big fancy way to just say that we're made in the image and likeness of God, and therefore the only proper way to treat another human being is with love. And so we need to understand that God doesn't just want more from us, He wants more for us.